For this project, I'm going to be demonstrating a Pablo Picasso-inspired self-portrait in the style of Cubism. Pablo Picasso is probably one of the most famous artists of all time, and one of his most popular styles is something known as Cubism. In the early stages of Cubism, he worked on something called analytical Cubism, where you broke down an image into different planes or different areas seen from different angles. In the early stages, he used very dark colors and lots of shadowing in his work. Later on, his work developed to even simplify his artwork even more, using bright colors and simple geometric shapes. This period in the later time is called synthetic cubism. So for this project, we're going to be focusing on synthetic cubism. Now, if you have a mirror, it would be great to look at it while you're doing this project. You can also take a look at the worksheets that I'm attaching to this lesson to see the different geometric shapes that you can use for the eyes, nose, and ears. First, we're going to use a pencil. Later on, you're going to be decorating this full of color and patterns. But at the beginning, I really want you to use a pencil, because if you make any mistakes or need to make any adjustments, you can easily do that with a pencil and an eraser. So it's also a good idea you draw lightly during this time. So during synthetic cubism, they use different images from newspapers, magazines. But for this project, if you want to just strictly draw everything, that's fine. Now, the first thing I would suggest is just starting off with a basic shape of your face. Now, you can turn your face any way you want to. If you have a mirror, just look in the mirror and just kind of just trace one view of your head. And you want to make this big and leave enough space for all the details that you're going to be adding throughout this project. So I've got a sheet of paper and a pencil. I'm just going to turn my head, look into the mirror, and just kind of draw a basic shape of what my face looks like from this one angle that I'm looking at. So for a basic shape, you don't have to be realistic. For this project, it's known as an abstract drawing. Abstract means that it's similar, you can still see and tell what it is sometimes, but you're not trying to make it look realistic. So you're taking this picture of yourself and you're going to look at different angles, and you're going to be drawing different features from different angles, and you're going to simplify these a lot. So for instance, I just turned my head looking over to the left, and I just drew a quick sketch around here. I didn't add hair to my picture at this point. Remember, I'm going to be simplifying everything. So if you have a mirror, you can look at a different angle and see what your eye looks like now. So now, when I turn my head to the right, I can see my left ear that I couldn't see before when I was turned over to the left. So now I can add an ear over here using a simple shape. Now, part of Cubism is it's really showing the impossible. Because when you look at something in real time, you can only see it from one perspective or one point of view. But in Picasso's self-portraits in Cubist, he could take a picture, look at it from different angles, and represent it on a sheet of paper or on canvas in one moment. So in real life, you wouldn't be able to see these two points of view at the same time. But this project is really making the impossible possible. So I'm going to continue doing that. So for the eye, maybe I'll look up this time and I can see that my eye is looking this way. And then I can turn my face to another direction and draw my eye again, looking another way. Now, unless you have a lot of control over each eyeball, you wouldn't be able to get this in real life where your eyes are looking in totally different directions. So once again, you can just continue doing this project by looking in the mirror if you have one, or you can just guess what your nose and face may look like from different angles. So for this first lesson, you're going to start off by drawing the shape of your face, and then take looks at different parts of your face from different angles, and then draw them individually using simple shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the rest of this for this first lesson. So here's my sample for lesson 1 of this project. Today we're going to be working on lesson 2 for our Pablo Picasso inspired Cubist portraits. In lesson 1, we made our portraits looking from different angles and simplifying our different details using simple shapes. Today we're going to want to refine our portraits or go over to make adjustments and also add the background. And we're also going to trace all of this after we're happy with it. Now, the reason why I say refine it is because sometimes you need to step away from your artwork. You don't want to spend too much time on it where you just get bogged down and get frustrated with it. So I'd like you to come back to your work and just make adjustments if you need to, or make any corrections. For instance, I'm looking at this eyeball and it's coming out the eye, so maybe I'll just erase that. And for the eyelashes, maybe I'll turn them into simple triangles rather than just lines. This will give me opportunities to color them in later on, and maybe I can add some things, and I can erase anything I need to at this point. And since I haven't shaved for a while, I need to be more realistic with this mustache, and down here I've got more. Also, I may want to add a couple more shapes inside my ear just to make it seem like it's my ear more. All right. Now, once you made some adjustments, oh, I forgot some teeth on the bottom also. Maybe I'll add some teeth. Now, once you're happy with your portrait and refining your portrait, I want you to think about the negative space, or the space around the things that you've drawn so far, and think about a pattern you can add to your portrait. For instance, I'm looking at all this negative space around my face right now in the background, and maybe I'll add simple patterns by adding some lines. One of the things I like to do when I have a lot of empty space and I don't know what to do with it yet is just to break up those empty spaces to smaller spaces. So I'm slowly just kind of adding some lines which really break up my space for my project, because sometimes it can be intimidating looking at empty space and not knowing what to do with it. But I think if you add lines and things like that, you'll slowly start developing some idea of what you want to do. So now that I've broken up my background space with these lines, I'm going to add some shapes to make a pattern in the back. So I can add whatever I like at this point. So I'm just going to make some diamond shapes for now. And this could be very simple. You want to keep this project to very basic shapes if you can. Don't want to get too bogged down on trying to make it look realistic, because this is an abstract project. And remember, abstract is the opposite of realistic. We're just trying to get the essence or the main feel of what we're trying to draw, not make it look exactly like it is in real life. Okay. Oops. So I'm just going to finish this off, and then I'm going to trace everything after I get these diamond shapes finished for my background. That's the end of lesson 2 for this Cubist portrait project. Today we're going to be finishing off our Pablo Picasso inspired self-portraits in the style of Cubism. Now, to do that, we're simply going to be adding color to this project at this point. Now, you can use any colors you want for this project. Remember, this is an abstract project, so we're not trying to make it look like real life. But if you're one of those artists that really like using natural colors, feel free to do that right now, because the rest of the composition should be so abstract that it doesn't even matter if you add real colors at this point. It's still going to look like an abstract drawing. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Just view this part of the video. I'm just going to add color to it and finish it off at the end with my artist signature down here in the corner of my artwork. Well, that's the end of our project. I hope you enjoyed doing your Pablo Picasso inspired Cubist portraits and you learned a little bit about Cubism.